Hi there! So before we go ahead and hatch our new turf dragon, first of all, I just want to point out that we do know that the next dragon of the week is going to be the LUNAR DRAGON. So he's been available as a dragon of the week plenty of times before, but the combo is going to be Salamander plus Venom, which are quite easy to get a hold of, and there is no shared breeding time, but it does have a 22-hour breeding time, which would be 17 hours and 36 minutes with VIP. So if you're interested in getting the LUNAR DRAGON next week, then make sure you get your Salamander and Venom dragons ready. So, now that that is done skis with, let us go ahead and hatch this beautiful turf dragon. So, as I've said before, I did hatch this guy at one point on our Android account, but I've never gotten him on PC, and I like him, so I'm happy to hatch him again. So the turf dragon's developed an environmental camouflage that allows it to hide in tall grass. Unfortunately, this trainer now has to mow his lawn weekly to ensure he doesn't step on it. Would that be the answer? Couldn't you just train the dragon to stop hiding in the grass? Unless it's like a animalistic urge that it can't stop, I guess. But regardless, he's a water, earth, and light dragon. So he's quite a defensive epic if you really wanted to use him. I can't think of many situations where you would, but if you do, then, I don't know, you can really use whatever epics you want until you replace them with, you know, legendaries, divines, and all that jazz. The main thing about these, you know, event dragons and dragons of the week and things like that is just the fact that they look pretty cute, and they're really good to add to your collection and never look at ever again. But little Beeve here, he kind of freaks me out when he makes that, like, cackling, shrill noise. He almost sounds like a scorpion. Maybe not a scorpion. Do scorpions make noise? I don't know. I've never asked that question before. Is there a scorpion expert in the house? Because I'm certainly not one. I do not claim to know a whole lot about scorpions, and I don't think I ever will. But regardless, little Beeve here does look pretty swell indeed. He fits this earth habitat so well. Like, genuinely, I can see where the camouflage bit comes in. But to be honest with you, he looks a lot more like seaweed to me. Like, the back of him looks like seaweed on, like, dirt and rock. But my favourite thing about this dragon is just his gigantic smile. Like, think about that. His smile goes above his eye. That's how big his smile is. What the heck is that? Unless that's his mouth. Do you see that part there where his neck moves up? Is that his mouth instead? That's freaking me out even more. I don't even know what to think. Everything about this dragon creeps me out a little bit more than it probably should. But regardless, I am going to go into a fight with this guy because, you know, I do like to look at the dragons at least one time because otherwise we'll literally never ever see them. Oh, this is going to take forever to scroll through. Oh god. Where is it? I have to be on the lookout. There we go. He's right at the end, apparently. So let's go and pick Loro. Why not? And we'll pick another level 20. Cottontail. Because the Cottontail was in the dungeon recently, so we might as well make it slightly relevant, I guess. I don't even know if we can do this fight, but let's try it anyway. So the main thing about breeding the dragons of the week is that you have a much higher chance of going for them if they're your main goal. But, well, you still have the Gemini Alpha, and you still have Gemini Beta, and the Lilac Dragons and all of that to breed. I would highly recommend that you actually breed the legendaries first, unless you really, really want, you know, the Turf Dragon, if you actually want to breed him, because unless you really, really want him, the legendary is probably going to be a better priority for you to go for. I mean, at the moment, you know, I've got all the dragons in the world that I could possibly want, but let's try and rebreed. Look, we know that there's a chance. There's a chance. Go! Go! How many times is that going to happen this week? Every time, I swear to God. It's like if I try and breed Gemini Beta on my own, it doesn't work. As soon as I start recording, there you go. Bombastic. There's the 1 day 4. Is this rigged? Has my account been rigged to give me endless amounts of legendaries? I'm not even reacting this time. That's how many legendaries I've seen recently. Actually, this is really bad for me, because if you remember, tomorrow we actually have a solo event starting, so I've kind of destroyed myself by doing this. So, you know, as I said in the live stream earlier, you know, with the solo event coming tomorrow, it's a really good idea to not try and breed the legendaries while the solo event is on if you really struggle with solo events. And at the same time, make sure that the food that you're putting into your farms is not super long food. So, for example, squarey berries are fine because they're 6 hours. The spring cherries are obviously really good. But you don't really want to be putting in candied pears or sweet root, and probably you shouldn't be putting royal figs in either because they take all at least a day to 2 days to actually do. So, since it is nighttime, I am going to pop in my squarey berries and I'll wake up when they're done and then we can collect those. But for the most part, just don't do anything that's going to ruin your event chances, because there's literally no reason. No point in just making the event harder than it needs to be already. But I guess I'll take another legendary so that we can potentially upgrade Sani. Well, for now, I'm going to upgrade God a little bit. And before we use Kronos, so I did say I was going to leave it and then collect the 6-hour food, but we do have a Kronos time skip. And even though we could technically get better value out of the Kronos time skip, I think it's going to be more worth our while if we just use it as soon as possible. Even though it is super useful during events, I would rather just get full value out of the usages of Kronos instead of that. So, looks like we can't really do anything else, so there we go. Let's go ahead and use it. Kind of sucks that we didn't have dragons to pop into those ruins, but at least if we speed this up now, the breed itself won't take quite as long, so it's only got a day and 8 hours left now, which would take us to 11:50 PM tomorrow, which is not good enough. Although I say that, but actually we're not going to be doing the solo event on PC, I just remembered. So this is actually completely and utterly fine for me. But if this is your main account, that would absolutely suck. For example, we don't have any bundles on at the moment, but since we do have the solo event coming up, be aware of the bundles and promotions section, because during events we tend to get a lot of bonus stuff, just random either weird bundles or bundles that include the event dragons in them. And the main reason they do that is because if you're too busy during the time period of the event, or say you know that you're not going to be able to finish off the event just before you even start doing it, then it tempts people into buying dragons and buying the bundles. So, if they're ever going to bring out bundles in a certain way, those sorts of bundles are the bundles that I really, really support. Because those are the ones that make sense. You know, it's like, you can either win this dragon for free by doing well in the event, logging in frequently, you know, showing your dedication to the game. Or, if you don't have the opportunity to do that, you can buy it. So, it sort of benefits everyone. The pay-to-win people, they can just insta-buy it and then show everyone within 10 seconds because they've gemmed the speed up. They're happy. And then, the players that just want to win the dragons legitimately, they can just do the event. And then, that's it. They get the dragon through hard work. So I think it is one of the better methods of, you know, putting payment, I guess, items into the game. Because one of the worst ways that they can do it is where they bring out a bundle that has a dragon that is only available through that bundle, because then that completely alienates any of the players that don't pay or can't pay. At the same time, you do get a lot of dragons that are really limited from the bundles, because it means that not many people are willing to buy them in the grand scheme of things. But hey, I mean, it depends on your perspective as to how valuable you feel that bundle dragons are, or how valuable you think certain event dragons are. Like, the princess dragon was pretty tough to get way back when. So that dragon is definitely one of the harder event legendaries to get hold of. I never got her, but that's because I wasn't logging in. But there's just a couple of events like that, where you got particular difficult dragons to get. And who knows, maybe we'll see some of those soon, maybe we won't, I don't know. For now, we are just prepping for the Soul event, prepping for the Divine event, prepping for the June update. We should probably be doing our dungeon every single day in prep for that June update, because literally anything could happen. And it's sort of scaring me, because I don't know what to expect at this point. The fact that we're getting 0 info, kind of creeping me out a little bit. But regardless, that is pretty much everything that I wanted to go through for today / tonight, since we're 5 minutes away from the new day. But get yourself ready, and prepare for the Whalmer weekend events and all that jazz as well. Fridays are busy days indeed. And until next time, I'll see you then.